Namaste everyone. In today's video, we're going to focus on Muni Patanjali's Yoga Sutra 3.20. Now in this Yoga Sutra, Muni Patanjali is giving us some more information about what the mind reading is like from the previous Vibhuti and what actually happens and some things to be aware of or cautious about during this process. So let's take a good look at the sutra, start breaking it up word by word and understanding it a little bit better. The sutra itself goes, Nacha tatsalambanan tasya vishayi bhutatvat. Alright, so this is the sutra itself. Now let's look at each of the words and start breaking it up step by step so we can understand the words a little bit better. The first word over here is na. Na is just indicating not, very simple, just a single syllable saying not. Then comes cha, another very simple syllable which indicates and. And then comes the next word which is tat. Tat has come many times so far across the Yoga Sutras and refers to that. And then comes the next word which is salambanam or salambanan. And here this is basically referring to sa, which means with, and alambana, which is referring to the support or the topic or the subject that has been chosen for concentration or that is being supported and concentrated on. So that is salambanan. Then we come to the next word which is tasya. Now tasya means of that. Alright, so tasya of that. Then coming to the next word, we have avishayi bhutatvat. Now very interesting combination of words here. The first word, which is avishayi, is referring to basically no vishay. So it can be taken as avishayi in the sutra and also avishayi with just the word alone. So here it's referring to no subject, no topic, non-vishayi, and then bhutatvat, which means this particular state. So not being oriented to that particular subject or state. So these are the meanings of each of the words. Now let's go a bit deeper as we dive into it and start understanding what exactly the sutra is trying to say. So on the surface, the sutra is essentially telling us that we must remember, even though the previous sutra says that the yoga sadhak can understand what is going on in the chitta of another person, still we're not able to get the, whatever that person is focusing on. So say for example, there's yoga sadhak A trying to focus on person B's thoughts and the mind. As they're doing so, they will receive whatever information and whatever insight, whatever they're gaining from person B's mind. But we have to be cautious of the fact that person B may be comprehending a particular subject with a limited sense of perception and understanding. So therefore, the yoga sadhak A is just going to receive a direct reflection of that information. Then he or she has to be cognizant enough to see what to do with that information, because person B could be incorrectly perceiving something. So going back to the chitta vrittis, if you remember from the initial first chapter, we learned that there are many different types of thought waves. We also learned that there's something called false knowledge or the viparyaya thought wave, which indicates wrong knowledge or factually incorrect information. And so when we are, receiving the thought wave of a particular person, we have to understand that that person's thought wave could be centered on some wrong information. They could have erroneous perception, and we can't guarantee that what they're thinking or what they're experiencing is correct, because that's subjective and that's their own perception. So this is sort of like a little bit of a warning in a way, or I would say just something to be aware of, that Muni Patanjali is stating here, that just because you're able to see a direct reflection of somebody else's state of mind does not mean that that state of mind is correct or has the exact information that is required of a particular subject. So now let's go a little deeper, understand even further what does this mean with the help of an example. So let's say, for example, a particular yoga sadhak needs to tap into the mind or the chitta of person B because they need to gather some information for the overall well-being, maybe say of the country, of the community or the village. And for example, if person B has some incorrect knowledge, so let's say for example, person A is trying to find out on what date is a particular, say, election going to happen, and person B doesn't have the right date in mind, has the wrong date, or doesn't know the information at all. So this lack of information or the wrong information is what will be reflected in person A's mind, and so that information may or may not be helpful to person A at all. And also person A may not, the yog sadhak who's trying to perceive it may not get the information that they require to begin with. So it could just fall flat completely, especially if person B lacks that information, doesn't have the right information, didn't perceive the situation correctly. So this sutra is like that little pinch of salt that you have to be aware of, that even if you have the vibhuti to understand the content in another person's chitta, there is no guarantee that that content is correct knowledge. That could be anything. All you're seeing is a mirror reflection, and then what you do with that information is kind of up to you. So obviously, as we had discussed even in the previous sutras, Muni Patanjali recommends not using these vibhutis for personal gain at all. Even if at all these powers are used, they must be used either in cases of universal welfare, where it's a matter of life and death and this information is required, or even better, to not use it at all, to just, pass through these powers that you're achieving and move towards the Kaivalya stage. But does that mean we shouldn't learn about it? Not at all. It's important to know this, to become aware of it, and then kind of to, keep going beyond it. There are also some vibhutis in this chapter which are kind of helpful, which serve as stepping stones into chapter number 4, which is Kaivalyapad. So we are going to study that a little bit later. But these initial vibhutis just, they sound so fantastical and miraculous to the average person that we may think that this is just, a fantasy world. But like I was saying earlier, some of these sutras are very ancient. They talk about a certain process which we may not understand, but we can respect and just study the sutra for what it is. So that is a little bit about Yoga Sutra 3.20. I hope you found this video helpful and useful. And if you have, please don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Give us a big thumbs up, let us know what you think. And also don't forget to share this video, subscribe to the channel because we release new videos every single week. And we cannot wait to see you and connect with you even further. If you'd like to join in for our courses, classes or workshops, the link is in the description, and we cannot wait to see you in the future in a class that's upcoming. So until then, take care, and we hope to see you very soon. Namaste.